Against everything I said, I decided to purchase the Solitaire Ts. Why did I purchase these? I've had a few knockbacks with headphones lately. I wanted to buy the Head Unity headphones, was turned off of those. I also wanted to buy the Audio-Technica WB 2022s, was turned off against those, for reasons that are mentioned in my previous uploads. And one other reason for purchasing the Solitaire Ts is they were actually cheaper than both of the headphones that I've just mentioned. I believe you need to address packaging. When you're buying premium headphones, the packaging has to say something. I've heard in the past you can't hear packaging, but let me just tell you, you can. And this is the sound of the packaging on premium headphones. This is how much time and money that they spent on the packaging. And if it's cost no money, just look at the time and the effort involved in presenting these headphones. Maybe that's it. Headphones that aren't premium, you just do not get the packaging. It just says so much about what you're getting and what's on offer here. Removing these headphones from the box and just looking at them, feeling them, you can tell this is top drawer. Looking at all the aluminium on these headphones, you can tell that this was unnecessary, but they decided to do it. Things like that I admire. Presentation and the effort that they've gone to deliver that. It is OTT, but I love it. Although I love it, it just reminds me of one of the reasons that I have never ever thought of purchasing these headphones. I honestly didn't really like the look of these headphones, and I still am thinking about whether I like these headphones or not, just based upon looks. These are the headphones that the Solitaire Ts remind me of. Can you see the similarities? To me, although the Solitaire Ts have a lot, they look extremely dated and plain. I don't think there's anything modern looking about the headphones. And the headphones that they look similar to are very dated. I know looks aren't everything, but I prefer the design of their wired headphones. I know they're more expensive, but I just prefer that design to these. There are some features in the design that I'm so glad that these headphones have. Think of many headphones out there, even the quite expensive ones. When it comes to the headband and how it retracts, you always notice that thin spring steel that pops out the headband and goes into the ear cups or the yokes. Just look what you've got here. No springy thin steel, all in aluminium. That as well, OTT, and I love it. And they even went to design the rest of it in the same kind of shape. I know it's not in aluminium, but they've actually housed it so that it looks better. Time, effort, at maybe very little cost. But the continuation in design from the aluminium, it just works here. And you can tell that they cared here. I've been thinking this for so long. Why do so many headphone manufacturers, especially when the expensive ones come along, just have that thin, springy steel? Enclose it in something that is a bit more when it comes to high quality or in design, to set it apart from those other headphones that are out there. All of the controls being metal, that is what they're supposed to be at this price. Your fingers are on these are being used a lot, and they need to be able to take the wear and tear. Alternatively, you have the tactile controls. Little things like this make these headphones smarter than the 5909s. Although aiming to get that spot on the right ear cup to select transparency mode sometimes can be a bit hit and miss. No complaints about the battery life. I'm fine with that. A few things I'm not too sure about on these headphones. Well, in fact, not too sure is not the right word. More or less, I'm not up for. The fact that the headband, the ear cups, are not made of leather. Nah, not at this price. The ear cups need to be leather. So many other headphones have leather, and I think they should be leather. Leather wears better, lasts longer, feels better, and I think when you're delivering headphones at this price, they shouldn't be vegan leather, pleather, faux leather, or even the very finest anti-allergenic synthetic leather. Leather. That's what we need on headphones at this price. Although I'm not too fond of the covering on the ear cups, nice cushioning, and the ear cups feel nice and plush. There's substantial cushioning. I don't like the way that looks. Putting the headphones on your head, these are they feel small. They're very compact. Definitely feel like a snug fitting headphone. And if you look at your profile, or when you've got these headphones on your head, looking in the mirror, or just the profile of how they fit, they definitely fit more snug than many other headphones. They sit close to your head and they're not protruding, and they don't look awkwardly big. With these headphones, you could actually wear these headphones in the street. You could actually wear these headphones commuting. Even something like the more protruding 5909s. I think the thing is, most people don't even know what these headphones are. They just see them as headphones. If they had a B on them, then I think you might need to think again. I know they're much cheaper, but people know what those headphones are, and people go crazy over these brands and other brands. And I think these just really do fall under the radar, and nobody knows what they are. Well, the average person on the street wouldn't know what they are, nor would your average commuter. Going back to the ear cups again, they're quite small. I don't know if I've got extra big ears or average ears, but I definitely notice these are the smaller of the ear cups that I have on headphones. And I think these might be a problem to some people. These are actually sitting on your ears. It's not really a maneuver over ear. I think these are on ear fitting and maybe just trying to slip to an over ear fitting. If I look at the other Solitaire headphones, they definitely have a much larger ear cup, and I think that might have worked on these. I think there's nothing wrong with having a larger ear cup for over ear fitting. This might be a problem for some people. I'm okay with it. I don't know how things will feel over time, but I'm okay with it for now. I'm loving the pearl blasted anodized aluminium. It definitely adds to these headphones being more special. And even as I handle them, it seems like it makes these headphones more delicate, or you want to handle these more carefully than you would any other kind of headphone. Maybe it's because how much they cost. Not too sure on that one yet. I've had these headphones for just over 2 months, and I thought I'd have them for a while before I do an upload and reveal what I think about them. They're definitely growing on me, because initially, let's say for over a year or so, I've known about these headphones but was not interested in purchasing these. Maybe it was due to their price. And although I have had them for a while now, they're not my favorite. There's so many good things about these headphones. Let's talk about the ANC. When it comes to the ANC now, I'm going to compare these against something like the 5909s. When it comes to ANC performance, I think one maybe does better when it comes to high frequencies and the other does better when it comes to low frequencies. These perform very much the same. They are very similar in their overall performance. But where these lead, these headphones have got the best transparency mode than any other Bluetooth ANC headphones that I have. What you hear outside sounds exactly how it should sound through your headphones. It seems as if you haven't got your headphones on. If you take your headphones off and you listen to your surroundings, they sound exactly the same, and I mean exactly the same when you've got the headphones on. That is amazing. The accuracy spot on. A definite 10 out of 10 here. The one fantastic thing about the Solitaire Ts, and there's no other headphone I possess that can do this. If you want to know the lyrics of a song, play it through the Solitaire Ts. You will hear every single word clean and clear. I've never heard anything like it from any other headphone. I think this is to do with the prominence of vocals through these headphones. The 5909s cannot match what these do to vocals. I can say, listening to the Solitaire Ts, vocals in a track, they're very forward. So forward that they can get penetratingly forward. Also, when you listen to a track, it sounds like the vocals are running alongside the track. They don't seem to sound like they're gelled within the track, within everything else. Combined together, that makes a song. If you listen to some headphones, or let's say, for example, again, the 5909s, a song sounds like a song, and it's all in one composition, it's all laid out in one production, and you hear everything all nice and balanced. Things like pianos and strings, you can hear absolutely every note. Claves, very prominent. All percussion is very emphasized. But I think the accuracy is in need of a bit of work. Cymbals can sound a bit fuzzy, again, comparing it to 5909s. You know that they're cymbals, but the 5909 makes these kind of instruments and other similar instruments, the detailed sound is more accurate and more realistic than the reproduction you'll get through the Solitaire Ts. Although these vocals sound very detailed and super clean, it doesn't seem to have the body, it doesn't seem to have the natural feel that you get with vocals. You usually get a bit of air and you usually get a reverb on the vocals. If I listen to the 5909s, I can tell more or less what's happening to vocals on some tracks, even not necessarily just a track that's not even a track that's a cappella. If I have a track and there's vocals in it, I can tell if there's reverb on those vocals. And when you listen to that same song with the Solitaire Ts, it seems to strip the vocals of any kind of natural flow, natural identity that that vocalist has. Everybody's vocals are going to sound different, but it just seems to square them up and they sound a bit like they've been worked on and they don't have the natural feel that normal vocals have. It seems like he's stripped everything back from vocals and just had them plain. There's nothing on them, not even a signature of that vocalist and the way that their voice works. It just draws it out and it's a bit rigid in form. Listening to the Solitaire Ts, you can tell that they don't have as wide a sound stage as the 5909s. Not by a massive margin, but you can just tell that the 5909s are slightly bigger. And I know this sounds crazy, but you can tell that the 5909s have a more taller sound stage. The overall sound, there's a boost of bass. Not overtly boosted, but a slight boost of bass, and definitely more boosted to the neutral on the 5909s. When you listen to vocals and you listen to music for the 5909s, things sound smoother, more real and more accurate. I can actually hear reverberations of a voice. And in a track, you can actually tell something like the size of the room. So when you listen to it through the Solitaire Ts, you don't get that feedback. Things do sound raw, but detailed. You can't really sense any open space or depth with the Solitaire Ts. Things just sound without much depth and air. Sounds more closer to a two-dimensional sound than anything more. I'm not necessarily meaning spatial sound. I just mean what you would hear on a track. Although the Solitaire Ts have so much detail, the feedback that you get from the 5909s, side by side, you can tell it's definitely better. If you hear something like drumsticks on a cymbal, you can actually hear the stick hitting the cymbal or even the ride of a cymbal. You can really tell each hit. Detail is there, but the realistic accuracy is not where the 5909s are. If you listen to vocals on the 5909s, there's more feel and emotion, and they sound more human. If you listen to vocals through the Solitaire Ts, they don't have what the 5909s have or what the 5909s can display from vocals. Although vocal presentation and punctuation is so forward on the Solitaire Ts, they don't sound as realistic as they do on the 5909s. I listened to Wildwood from Paul Weller, and when you listen to the guitar on that, you can just see it. You can see the strings. you can see the place. You can see so much just from feedback of the track. And his vocals, they sound more humanly. There's more body, more depth, range, and emotion through the 5909s. You're placed there. You can visualize everything. Listening to his fingers on the strings, just listening to the whole composition. There's so much more, that airy feel, that atmosphere, listening to that track through the 5909s. Through the Solitaire Ts, it's a lot flatter. You hear it, but it doesn't draw you in. Although the bass is boosted on the Solitaire Ts, it does sound extremely impressive. I listened to Rossini's Thieving Magpie on the Solitaire Ts, and listening to the track through them, the track, it lacked depth and sounded tighter than the 5909s. Although you could hear detail on things like the flute and piccolos, they sounded pin sharp, no distortion. The Solitaire Ts here were giving much more raw detail. But again, it just lacks that atmosphere. If you listen to the 5909s, you can feel and you can imagine, you can see the instruments playing, you can feel the room, you feel more air. And in this way, the 5909s, they add the magic to what you're listening to. These headphones come with a cable, so you can use these wired. And when they're used wired, they are switched off. No battery is needed when you're listening to these through the wired connection. When you listen to these headphones wired, they are quieter than they are through Bluetooth. But listening to these now through the wired connection, these headphones, the songs that you listen to now sound like songs. They sound like a song that you would get in post-production, a completed song. Everything sounds balanced, in its place, right and correct. Those vocals no longer sit alongside the track. They're within the track and everything is complete. Through the wired connection, the bass is boosted. But all of that great detail that you had listening to these through Bluetooth has disappeared. The headphones do still sound good, but now I'm thinking I prefer listening to these through Bluetooth, although they weren't perfect. I decided to say to myself, if I had the Solitaire Ts, what would I say about the 5909s? Rather than looking at it the opposite way, just to see if my findings added up. And I think that's right. I can still stick with that and say that if I had the 5909s after the Solitaire Ts, I might just be missing that detail. But I think that atmosphere and feel and emotion that the 5909s have, and many other headphones have, it just gives you more than what the Solitaire Ts do, because things do sound, I'm not going to say dead, that's a bit horrible, but listening to the way that the Solitaire Ts sound, I would say I can tell that the Solitaire Ts come from a company that is serious and that knows what they're doing. And it's the kind of headphone that I would say Mark Levinson or the 5909s need to worry about, because they're onto it. They know what they're doing. There's me talking like some pro, and I know more than the manufacturer of the Solitaire Ts than anybody else. But I'm just saying there's something missing. But if you go in the app and you listen to the headphone through the presets, wow. When I was listening to the Solitaire Ts through the app, listening to the presets, all the different modes, I can't remember what they are now. These headphones came alive. The way they were EQ'd in the presets, these definitely were so much better. And I was having so much fun flicking from one to the other to the other. That was where I wanted to be. They sounded fantastic. Even in, I think, one speech or talk, even that, listening to a track through that, they sounded amazing. And then when I put them back to normal, I thought, where's all that gone? That's what I was having a party listening to the headphones through the presets. The presets in the app are definitely addictive. and you'll find yourself getting lost in them. As much as I like the Solitaire Ts, with the pearl blasted anodized aluminium from one block and all of that spec, but when I listen to the 5909s, it is just more music delivery through the 5909s. It makes sense. It's like a language that is presented in a language that's understandable. And when you listen to your best song, the arrangement is just precise. And you can listen to that track time after time. Everything is balanced and so pleasing to the ear. The Solitaire T has a habit of stripping a track of its precious production. Tracks are just stripped of a major element that makes them musical. I like the fact that the Solitaire T's fold, but when you got really expensive headphones, most of them, other brands, they don't fold in the way that these do. It's amazing for a pair of headphones that cost so much. The app is good, it's enough. You got the EQ, the presets, the ANC. All of my tests were done in HD. I thought these were supposed to have LDAC. With the headphones, you get a zipped hard case and you get another hard case within that hard case. And that hard case contains the cables and all your accessories. The 5909s did take a dip in price a few months back. Now I notice they've gone back up to their original price. They're still around 1,000. I obviously don't recommend this, but if you're wondering how tough these are or how fragile they are, I had the headphones at the top of my locker, opened the locker door, they fell straight out all the way onto this bench, which is about 4 feet away, and then they hit the floor. But they still work. There's a very valid argument that the 5909s are better than these. And there is also a very valid argument that these are better than the 5909s. Thank you for watching.